All right, welcome in everybody. We are back after only a day off for College Soccer Match Day. We have a fresh episode that's primarily going to talk about, obviously, Vermont Green. You can tell with what we're wearing. Uh, the USL League Two Championship Final uh, went on last night. Came out with a 2-1 win for Vermont Green. They're your 2025 USL League Two champion. And we will soon bring in Owen O'Malley, the mayor of Burlington himself. We'll discuss the game last night, the run in the playoffs to even get to that point, and pretty much anything else that we can think of or surrounding the Vermont Green. Dylan, do you have anything else to add?
No, I'm just super blessed that the mayor took time out of his day to do a podcast. But no, yeah, we're going to go over the highlights, the stats, and then from there, just talk about the tactics of the final and what players impressed most throughout the summer and how we can see those players making an impact for the colleges.
Yeah, sounds good. And I just wanted you to fill in some airtime because for the viewers who have been with us through episode 1 and 2, connecting to YouTube and X and Twitter's a breeze, but I think we're finally on Instagram Live. So
Technology isn't easy.
yeah,
Technology
especially for
isn't
us,
easy.
I always thought
Especially if
that
you're old. If you're old, it's tough.
exactly. I'm becoming one of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think without further ado, we can bring in the mayor.
The one and
Owen
only.
O'Malley.
Guys,
Welcome in, Owen.
what's going on?
He's wearing a shirt. What?
What?
No.
Yeah.
How you doing? You doing good tonight?
Fantastic. Buzzing.
Nice. Well, I think before we began, I think, only an introduction for the Vermont fans, but for a college soccer fan and listener out there, just tell a little bit about your origin story and how you ended up Vermont, something quick and brief. And then from there, we can go right into the playoff run.
Yeah, actually, small world. Me and Dylan used to play academy together back in the day at NCFC.
Oh, no.
Yeah, look at us right there.
Questionable haircuts, huh?
Wow. Shout out Adam Armour.
Yeah, shout out Adam.
Great guy. But no, me and Dylan played NCFC together, and then I went to Creighton. Got drafted 9th overall, St. Louis. Went to play Tacoma last year, and then ended up back in Burlington. I played there in 2022, the inaugural season, but ended up back here this summer, and I'm glad I came back.
For sure. So, let's just get right into it. So, I'll kind of do a little recap don't mind that comment, a little recap about how, thank you, how the season went on for you personally, and through that, you can tie into like how the team mindset and the ups and downs, even though there was a lot of ups going undefeated, which is very impressive. So you come into Vermont starting as a right back for the first game against Boston City, as that's what you were playing at the next level. You get injured. Some people don't know that, right? You get injured, so you miss a couple games, and I don't think people realize how difficult that is, especially in summer when you have to get reps. So then you finally come back and play right back against AC Connecticut. You guys tie that game, not the best team performance.
Yeah.
And after that, it seemed like something happened as a team, and especially for you individually. You get moved to the left wing, and personally, that's your best position. You play there in your youth, and you basically played there at Creighton in the 3-4-2-1 system because people can consider you a wingback, but you were a left wing, right? You held the touchline, created goals and assists. So just kind of walk us through that timeline, because it felt like there was kind of a weight lifted off your shoulders when you got moved there, and it was super comfortable. And as time showed, when you got subbed on, good stuff happened.
Just starting kind of from the beginning of the season, but I came in maybe not as fit as I wanted to. I hadn't played in a couple of months, so just kind of get back into the swing of things. Ended up getting injured, was out for about a month and a half. Slowly got back into the swing of things, and when my opportunity came, I just took it. But kind of just going back towards what you were saying, Dill, with like the season's so long, and there's a lot of ups and downs, and I don't think a lot of people see like being such a successful season, being undefeated. Like there's a lot of guys that went through some tough times this summer because there wasn't playing time, or they were behind a guy that was maybe getting more minutes than them. And at the end of the day, I think the guys that hung around and stuck around really deserve to play and to get the minutes at the end of the day. And just glad that I had to be a part of it.
For sure. Now let's relive the Western Mass game away, right? So last game of the season, you guys need a tie to win the conference,
Mm-hmm.
and which you've never done before in the history of Vermont, and that's kind of that's been the main goal since day one. And I would say Western Mass has been Vermont's kryptonite, right? Whether it's home or away, playing at their place especially, right? Small field, fans are on top of you. Western Mass is a good team as well, but a lot of gamesmanship, right? It's a difficult game.
For sure.
So you get subbed on, right? Walk us through the mindset of the team, but also you, because it's an uphill battle when you get subbed on.
I mean, I think it just comes back to honestly, I think that game we probably had not our weakest roster, but just like we didn't have all the guys that were there throughout the season, and that was probably the hardest game of the season, like coming down to it. So I think that the guys, like I was saying, that hung around and stuck around, that maybe didn't get the glory at the beginning of the season, really helped us out in the end. And I think that that's really what it came down to. I think every guy understood that, hey, we're playing for something bigger than just ourselves. You got 100, 150 fans that are traveling down to Massachusetts for an away USL2 game. That's not a lot of people do that, but just having them there, and the atmosphere was unreal. And I think just going towards the end of the game, we know that we need to just tie and get 2 goals, and I think just Vermont magic.
When Zangi's goal went in, was there kind of did you guys kind of look at each other okay, this is kind of it now? I feel that goal, I sensed it just watching. Something happened after that goal where we're okay, they can really do it now,
I mean, I would just say they were time wasting the whole game. So for them to have 10 minutes of out of time for us, I thought was pretty fair. And so, when Zach scored, honestly didn't know how much time was left in the game. You're kind of just in this vision of just hey, we got to keep going. And I think just every guy that just grinded it out to the end, I got an opportunity at the end of the game, and I just took it.
Nice.
Yeah, and we can bring up the miracle at the Lusitania right now. But yeah, one of the questions you kind of covered it there, but it's 98th minute at that point, going on to 99th, and you said you didn't have much concept of how much time was remaining or anything like that, but I mean, to think about absolute dying minutes, you need a goal. It has to be perfect, and it is. So, does anything cross your mind when you're out there, when you're getting the long ball from the left, deep right side?
I think it's more just it's so natural for me, and me and Dylan were touching on this earlier. You can't just don't let me inside, and I just got the opportunity. That the guys give me all shit for it all the time back in the academy days, but just a little. I just need a little bit of space.
Yeah, that is true. At the academy days, and even pick up when we were in college, we all met up, right? Not Thomas Brooks at Castle.
Yeah,
it's don't let him inside, don't let him inside, and that's your bread and butter. And you even see it in the later games when you get subbed in. When you come in, it's dangerous, but then once defenders start to realize they have to defend against you, that opens up Fernandez or Zangi making a run through, and that's where your assist came. You slid that ball in. So I think even though that's your bread and butter, you've shown that you can also be dangerous slipping that ball through. Even though I know you like that little up and 90, but it's when it went in, was it just, did you just see red or what? Was it just?
I mean, honestly, it was just a tunnel vision. I just had touched, finished, and I saw it go in, and I was just we won the division that. I knew we were going to win the game.
Yeah. And it had to be.
Here you go, Owen.
Oh, that's around
town. Around town, can you just Are you
Oh,
You
immune
just
to
say
yeah.
I'm the mayor and you
I
get
hope
syrup, or
so.
what's the
I hope
vibe?
so. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
that's a
definitely
politically
be
correct answer. He usually does it all the time.
we'll definitely be getting
We'll
into
get into that.
the community
Yeah. Once we
soon
finish
after,
the
but
playoff run. So now playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Going into it, before I even talk about the second half heroics, was there like, did Chris talk to you the day after, like right after the game, of like, when did it kind of click? Like, okay, like we have the team now back, we won the title, like we can go all the way. Or was it just a kind of more like a day by day, enjoy the moment kind of feeling?
I think it was more of just like we know that we had a super deep group, and so like being able to use guys either off the bench late in the game or on the a 2 game weekend when we're playing games within 48 hours, like you're gonna have to rotate the squad. And to be fair, like I have to give Adam Pfeiffer and Chris a lot of credit. Like we didn't have one starting lineup that was the same the entire season, which I think is pretty impressive. So I mean, it just shows that like the guys recruiting the guys to come here just know that these guys are top players, and the depth that we had, I think, just carried us through the playoffs.
Nice. Now, second half heroics, right? I have Hudson Valley, right? Tatooine 9-minute hat trick.
Crazy.
Walk us through that game, because you guys would start the games well, but I wouldn't say like on top, right? But second half, something happened every game where it was just like you guys just picked it up. Maybe it's because the fan sections over there, the ultras, or you guys were just like, okay, like let's pick it up now. I do think the subs helped. I think Chris did a great job in his staff, like timing the subs correctly. But walk me through kind of that hat trick, seeing it, and then after that, you're kind of just coasting as a team.
I think it's just goes back to show like the depth that we have. Like we can have guys that want to start the game and grind for 60, 65 minutes and know that that's their job. And then, the guys coming off the bench know that the game's going to be open because those guys in front of them did the work that was needed. So I think it just goes back to show that each guy knew their job and did their job to the highest capability.
Nice. And then, like, I know Mark can talk on the FC Motown because he watched them quite a bit, because they're a good team, very
Very
solid
good.
team. And
Very good.
there was times it was a little shaky, but then again, second half, 3 goals in 9 minutes. I really like pretty sure like I went to go get water, threw it, and I was like, they just scored 2 goals. What's going on? So like that FC Motown had talent, and that was a game where once you guys won, I kind of got the vibe of like, okay, like they're going to win the whole thing now.
Well, I think like another like weird stat is like during the regular season we'd never gone behind except going to Western Mass first, and then from that game forward we were the ones that were conceding first. So I think it just goes again to show like the grit that the team has, knowing that we can win any game in any situation, any scenario.
yeah, and that playoff run in itself, and we were talking about that a little bit briefly before the show. I think, for maybe the casual kind of soccer fan in the United States, they might not realize just how difficult the USL League Two season is. In a way, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it just kind of feels like a 3-month tournament, because the division almost feels like a group stage. You have to emerge
Sure.
from that,
Mm-hmm.
and then once the playoffs start, you're playing the top teams that have all come from their different divisions, and there's so many fantastic programs around this country.
Mm-hmm.
And FC Motown, they were the number 1 team in the country going into that game and coming out of the division round. And Lionsbridge, I mean, that's an absolutely stacked roster as well.
I
And
agree.
obviously, like, Vermont has done a really good job. I mean, the guys from even the beginning of the season to the middle and even in the playoff run, like, there were guys that were coming and going, because the thing about, and again, for fans out there that might not know, but, a lot of players have to report back to their schools well before the season's even over. So you're losing a lot of guys, and sustaining that run with all the personnel changes is definitely not easy. And I will probably go as far to say as this is one of the hardest trophies to win in our country. So we left off on Lions Bridge.
They were.
Yeah.
They
So
were
that
good.
game, yeah, like to be fair, like athletic, classic 3-5-2. And I feel like you guys are a football playing team, and I feel like there was times where they disrupted that. But I do feel like the talent did, prevail. But then again, there was times where I was like, they're just hammering crosses, and it's tough to defend. Like no matter how good you are, like defending crosses nonstop is difficult. So talk to me about going into extra time. Like, does Chris make any adjustments to the team? It seemed like it was the same, or was it just kind of like a motivational speech, or what was the mindset? And I'm assuming after winning all these games in the second half, you guys feel somewhat comfortable and confident, even though it is extra time and it's win or go home.
I think we're super confident knowing that, I think other teams maybe didn't have as much depth as us and couldn't contain what we were bringing off the bench. Honestly, like I think that's ultimately what it came down to. I mean, you bring on 3, 4, 5 guys that are fresh that could be starting in the 11. Like it's night and day, So I think just the game going into overtime, us being super confident with the guys coming off the bench. I think we knew that we just would wear them down eventually and get the goals, which we did.
Yeah.
So then one of my favorite. You gonna say, Mark?
Here, we'll get Tyler in and out. I think
Oh.
he has a message for the boys in the organization. So
Ty.
surprise guest, Tyler Trimley was there during the regular season. The number 9 shirt.
Yo,
What's up, Tyler?
O'Malley?
Ty,
Hey,
what's up?
How's it feel to be a national champ, brother?
Feels good.
Yeah.
You're one
Mr.
too. You're one
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
brother.
yeah.
You're one too.
Dude, I'm here with Amani actually. He's out in the booth right now. We're watching Charlotte FC versus Chivas.
Nice.
How is it? Nice.
1-1. Chivas just scored a banger, dude. Left foot, bottom corner. But anyway, I just want to say, bro, congratulations, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dylan, you laid the foundation with Owen, and now Owen reaps your rewards for the best fan base in the country. That's what I have to say. I mean, 4th-tier football, getting fans like that, it's incredible, man. And
What was your
100%.
favorite
and,
experience for the fans back home? Like, what was it like? What was the game that stood out? An experience? What was it?
by far, the miracle at Lustiano. Is that what we calling it?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Owen O'Malley cuts in, right foot, top
You
corner.
should have seen this
Changed the
guy in the
season.
group chat. Should have seen this guy in the group chat. He's recording on the computer and he's like freaking out.
That's a good fan right there.
Dude, I'm screaming, Mr. Vermont, Mr. Vermont. Dude, but yeah, I mean, honestly, just, I was just really grateful to be a part of the team, like, and being there, like, probably one of the most fun experiences I've had playing soccer. And, like,
100%.
Owen and Dylan both told me that going into it. And I was just so impressed with the overall experience. And, Owen being my roommate.
Oh no, a little messy, huh?
Nah, Owen's a good guy, man. And
I gotta keep
So-
Tyler,
we'll say that. We'll say
in
that.
check.
It's your podcast, so we'll say that.
No.
But anyways,
any other? We'll let you get back to what you're doing, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity to give a message out to all the Vermont Green fans and organization for such a good achievement.
yeah, no, I mean, those are the best fans in the country, and they deserve that. I mean, I think it's very fitting to see on social media that they're getting a lot of the players obviously had to win and they did their job, but the fans 100% did their job. I mean, looking at the video of the Virtue Field and seeing like that was ridiculous for 4th-tier football in the U.S. Something I never really thought I'd see as a kid growing up. And I know Owen's like ecstatic because that's all he ever dreamed of, winning a championship with Vermont with a crowd like that. And hopefully, I hope the owners are listening, but hopefully they can figure this out and take this to another level. And hopefully Owen O'Malley can be one of the first players they sign for a professional team. That's what I hope.
That would be sick.
That'd be awesome.
So, Pat, if you're listening, you got to get it done, man.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
Tyler, thank you, man.
Hey, all
Ty,
right,
love
boys.
you, Ty.
Up the
Love you,
green,
Ty.
baby.
There you go. Yeah, so
What a character.
yeah, I think it's. I mean, we can probably get to that at some point in the show, but I mean, we all have talked about it. I think one of the best things about USL League Two and USL as an organization itself is, there's a lot to be said for what the league can provide the players themselves and providing an opportunity over the summer to keep playing. And because that's always the critique on college soccer is the seasons are too short. They've started to create more summer or spring seasons, which is really good. But when you look around, soccer is definitely almost intended to be a year-long sport with only maybe 2 or 3 months in the middle.
Yeah.
So having the continuity of this league and the opportunities for all the college players to come in and players like yourself to come in is such a big thing. But the other aspect that I don't think a lot of people realize, because we're seeing it with like Sarasota Paradise is going to be one of the teams that's moving into League One, but it's a great atmosphere or environment to almost have a club and grow it naturally and have it be a proof of concept. And if your team takes off and you have amazing community support, tons of fans, and ambitious owners, it's just such a great pathway to build clubs in a country that we don't have 100-year-long legacy clubs that have been around since like the 1900 or like the turn of the century. So Tyler bringing up that note was kind of popped into my mind. I definitely had to cover that as well. But I mean, Vermont definitely has the resume to do it. So I guess time will tell. I think it's
And like,
inevitable.
it also, like, whether it's Vermont or any League Two team, it's kind of the first glimpse of what it's like being a pro. Of most likely, a lot of these teams are training in the morning, right? Some might even do gym sessions or extra training in the afternoon, but it gives a taste for all these players to be like, oh, I want to do this full time, or I want to go to the next level. Vermont, especially
100%.
in the summer, it's beautiful. So I remember for myself and like you, it's like you would train, get lunch with some guys, and then from there you decide. And it's a lot of downtime, but it shows the perspective of, okay, this is what it's like at the next level. Like I have a lot of time on my hands, but also I get to be a pro. So I feel like we talked about last episode where League Two is just great for anyone who wants to continue on, because not only do you play against new players and with new players and maybe with a new coaching staff that can teach you new things about the game, but it's just an experience. And the more experience that you get playing, the better you'll be, not only on the field, but also mentally.
Exactly.
I know Enzo Dunville, UNCG did a write-up, and he was like, I got my first taste of what it's like being a pro. And like that's what you want players leaving League Two, so they can carry that over and that mindset over to the college season, and that becomes contagious. And now the whole locker room is like, I want to go. Like I want to help the team and do well,
And I think that also helps like the college landscape too, like guys going and having these professional, going to these professional environments and, bringing that back to their colleges and kind of saying like, hey, this is how we should roll with things. This is how we should do things. And I think that only creates more of a culture for that program.
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take a tiny break just so this question doesn't get too stale. But a friend of the podcast wants to know who has the best and worst goal celebration throughout the season. I know we just had Tyler on.
Oh,
I know that was there's a backstory on that.
That's a question I want. Yeah.
that a lot of people
okay.
should know.
Okay. So the best celebration was probably in GK flipping after scoring against Western Mass.
Yeah.
He did so many flips. I don't know how that's possible.
He's never gonna stop.
I thought he was gonna hit the fence. Like, I thought he was. I don't know. This guy's crazy.
I thought the video glitched. I was like, he's doing like 6 in a row. Anyway. Yeah.
And then probably the worst, which we just had Tyler on, but that kind of the funny backstory is Tyler loves this stupid TikTok with the fairy.
Are you
And
putting all the blame on him? Because that's not. The
I know
story
you.
I heard.
No, Owen, you love TikTok.
no,
I heard it was a bit. I
no,
heard it was like
no.
whoever scores first, whoever scores first has to do it. And but yeah, continue.
Okay, so yeah, Tyler ended up scoring first, and he did it, and it was bad.
I remember
Yeah.
watching the video on Instagram, and I was like, because I was doing a camp. I was doing a camp with kids who were like 12 years old doing that dance. So then like to see it later that day from Tyler, I was like, you know, I love Tyler, but it was questionable.
Yeah, me.
But he scored, and that's all.
Me and his dad were like, "What in the heck is he doing?" And like one of
But
his
then we had-
sisters had to explain it to us because we were like, "I've never seen that because I'm not a TikToker, so I wouldn't even know." But yeah.
But then we got like David Ajagbe doing the guy on the boat dance.
I saw that one. Yeah,
like that's funny though, you know, like that's funny.
like that's what League Two is about. Like, of course, it's not about the goal celebrations, but like you didn't know these guys going into it, and within like a day or two, you have brothers for life, right? You have friends that you keep in contact with, and that shows on the field with the chemistry and the trust that you have with these players. So I feel like, you know, like people can laugh at the goal celebrations, but it's like it shows it's deeper than a goal celebration. It's like, you know, it's a togetherness that you can bring on to each training and each game. So I do feel like it's funny, but that's how you build the chemistry as a team, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean that's how you build like healthy relationships, and you know, you build a good bond between the team. I think you can probably attest to this still. Like the guys that you played with in Vermont Green were super good guys, and you probably still keep in contact with a lot of them.
Yeah, I talk to Javork like every single day. He's with New
and
England.
I think and I think
Lisa
that
too.
I think it goes a long way for these guys that go on and have these professional careers. You know,
So let's go back to the national semifinal, right? Dauphin, PKs. Carl Reynolds for that club has done great for them in the past, and that team was, you know, 3-4-2-1. I would say, like talented wingbacks up and down the pitch. That was a tough game in regards to that was like one of your first teams you've played all season that like plays football just like you do.
I agree.
So I don't just tell us about how the game went, what the vibe was like, because there was times where it was a little shaky, but then there's other times you were on top of them. So it was a good football game. It was back and forth.
I think Dauphin was really good. I think they caused us a lot of problems. I think that towards the end of the game, they really sat like in a 5-3-2. So I mean, it was kind of tough to break down when when you got three guys in the midfield sitting in front of three center backs. So I mean, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to win the game. You know, so it's football at the end of the day. But I mean, they held us to penalties, and you know, I funny enough, I told Chris when we were on the sideline, I said I want to go fifth.
Yeah, I knew it.
And it just ended up happening that way. But
so I'm guessing, did Chris suggest the PK takers? It was like who wants one, and people raised a hand.
It was kind of both. I think Chris was definitely like, we want to start off strong, and so I think he went Zenge, Alex, and then Laborlu I think was third.
Yeah.
So I mean, like those are three of our best PK takers, and then Maxi and me. So I think.
Did you know you want to put it down the middle, or like what was the walk?
Yeah,
you knew that you could win it, and
I mean it's kind of funny, like looking back on it now. Like me and Maxi were kind of talking about it, standing like, you know, in line next to each other watching the penalties, like, and he's kind of like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go down the middle. Like keeper's kind of jumping a little early, and I was like, okay, I can see it. And then Laborlu went, and the guy jumped really early and like almost got a touch to the ball. I mean, he put it in the top corner, but so I was just like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go down the middle. Once Nicholas had saved the fourth penalty, I was like, keeper's got to make a save, so might as well just pass it down the middle. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and I think we can. Do we want to move into the final? So I have pretty much all of or a condensed version of the final. We can kind of talk through some of the plays.
No, for sure. Let's do it.
Want. So the first one is early in the game. It's just kind of showing one of the build-outs, but we've seen this throughout the game because I think there's another play in here that working down the sideline as a group. And this was when, I mean, we already had some kind of tough tackles early on, but
That's a lot.
Briscoe is
Briscoe. That was a
definitely
good
on
battle.
fire out there, and
I know Kai pretty well, and he's a hard worker.
Yeah, he's a great
Yeah.
player. And like,
hell of an athlete.
you need someone like that on your team though. Like you could tell he brings the energy, and he's
100%.
you know.
Yeah, because Simeon was equal to Eamon pretty early on. There were like 3 tackles in the course of only a couple minutes. Here's probably the first best chance of the game.
Great save.
Great save. Great
Yeah,
save.
that delivery was great. And yeah, Shorthead, I mean, I thought he played really well for Ballard. It could have got away from him a little bit.
Where does he play?
I think he's post college, but he was at Utah State or something like that.
Okay.
And then a couple chances here.
One thing that I liked about the game is Ballard didn't sit back when pressing you guys, and you guys didn't really sit back too. Like they backed themselves just like how you guys did. And like you see the first play, it was a good build-up, but especially in a final, it's easy to be kind of apprehensive the first 5-10 minutes. So credit to both of you guys for just going at it,
I mean, I think it's just props to them. I thought they played really well, and I think they moved the ball from right to left and left to right really well. Getting on one side and then switching it quickly.
Yeah. You guys matched up well too, like being a 4-2-3-1 each of you guys. Like Ahmed and Simeon, great battle. Then you have Abby and like Briscoe. Like it was just like battles from every position, front to back.
Definitely each corner of the field had its own like really great battles. I know the commentators, they've always done a really good job at all the games that I've watched on Sports Engine, but you had the way they teed up the whole Richie Eamon as one of the best 1v1 dribblers in League Two, and then where Chris was saying that Simeon is also one of the best 1v1 defenders, and we saw that like throughout the first 15 minutes. And then Joe Dale and Victor Akum, their rivalry is gonna continue very shortly
for sure
from here, because with Victor transferring into Indiana, they'll be playing against each other this year. And we showed one of the tackles for Victor, but Joe Dale also had some really great movement on that right side as well. So new rivalry on the 1v1s come the college
That's Alex
game.
Hall. You add him to it as well.
Yeah,
that's a dangerous right side that he's going to have to defend against.
Yeah.
What a player. What a player. Oh, my. Love that kid.
Yeah, we'll talk about him later. But
through ball for Abby from Zenge.
Great ball.
And this is the offside one.
Yeah, this was a close one.
So, yeah, I mean, you were there. So one thing I'll say on these live streams, it's not like, obviously we can see the crowd and even everyone behind the fences and stuff and on the track bleachers, and it's like crazy, but we don't necessarily get a sense of how loud it actually is. In that moment where you think you're up 1-0, was the roof blown off that place?
I mean, I want to say there was probably like 2,000 fans behind that goal. Like it was loud. I thought it was a goal. We thought the guy handballed it on the line. That's what some of the guys said. I don't know if that was Alex.
Definitely messy in there.
It was maybe Alex's shot that hit his hand, and then Babas tapped it, but I don't know, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't put the other angle in on that one, but it's tough with like the deflections and stuff. But Tatsevin was definitely beyond everybody, but the ball didn't directly come to him. It bounced off like 3 players before he came back to the onside position. So, it would have been interesting to see what VAR would have said, but I mean, as we go through the game here, luckily it didn't matter that much.
Yeah. I think that pass caused them problems when they pressed as like a front three, then Zangi would drop in the half space, and like Musa would dink that ball. A lot of your good chances came from that.
You gotta score that.
But look at Zangi, like that's like the leadership.
But Babas is scored so many goals for us this season. You know.
Oh yeah.
He's been big time.
There's Julian's amazing run.
Great ball.
I know, right? I was
Great
thinking
ball.
that every time I see Labordelus doing one of these runs, I think,
you're
right up.
You put
No
the
luck.
replay.
I mean,
Yeah,
the extension of the hands, it's tough to argue against that.
I think we can come back just a tad here. Like you can see that as one ankle gets clipped a little bit too. And I think that's what might have thrown him off. So
it's tough
here.
Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about.
Maybe. I don't know. We could probably ask him. But
Good
yeah,
PK too. The little Jude Bellingham
here. I didn't put the celebration here, but do you know what the background was and
no clue.
How there was just a random chair that he wanted to go stand on?
I don't know. Julian he's a special player and a special person, and he kind of does what he wants. And yeah, Ian Abbey, what a player.
Yeah.
Go ahead, though.
No, Julian, like when he got the chair, it hit like a worker in the leg. Like the worker kind of like limped a little bit. It was funny. I mean, he can do whatever he wants when he's playing like he did. Like we talked about Julian, like when he makes that run with the ball forward and makes the CDM on the opposing team decide what to do, and a lot of times they drop, like you just saw. Yeah. So I think when he's partnered with Rived and someone who's stable there, it gives him the freedom to do that. And you can see what happens. Like he can slide balls, he can shoot balls, he can cross balls. So I think like that just sums him up as a player. Like that play right there sums him up as a great midfielder and kind of like a deep lying playmaker.
100%.
Yeah, and I think he was rightfully so the MVP of the final because, how many fouls he earned throughout the course of that game. And, it's one of those things where MVP is always debated on, mainly in NFL type stuff, but it's value. What if you didn't have Labordelus during that game, it could have been different. He was such a good impact, and not just the PK. So
100%.
So we'll keep moving through here. I wanted to reset it for this next clip because this is where Alex Hall picks up the ball. A little dangerous chance there to try to go up 2-0. This one's in there because Labordelus will back heel, and then he earns this one of many fouls. But yeah,
he plays with this arrogance, which I really like. It's not arrogance, but it's he knows how technical he is, so he can draw those fouls, and that then opens up passing lanes as he does it more and more. So it's a really cool thing to see.
See ya.
He loves that
inside run right there when a Jagby came on. Jagby ended up having two really good opportunities.
Really good
opportunities. One right here. This one was even better because
I thought he was a good foul
there. Some of the traffic in there. Nearly there for Zelafaro, I believe, if I could see that number correctly.
Unlucky. Touch.
Yeah, great ball, great touch. And this is what earns the corner for the inevitable or for the eventual winner. Me and Dylan, we were texting as this was happening. This looks like it's by design.
Yeah. So we actually
loves his corner kicks. That was on purpose.
We actually had a play, and the guy was supposed to run, and it was supposed to go to Zenge, and he was supposed to hit it first time. But it kind of blew up. I guess maybe Julian played a little bit of a bad pass, and then kind of just ended up working out for us.
Yeah, I think Jose Kojima, if he saw that goal, he would be thrilled. He loves counter movement. So when you bring the long ball across, all the players are moving in the opposite direction of where the ball is coming. And then, when Max Kissel is he's aware of it. everyone is flowing away from him, and it's just right on his foot, ready to have this
Exactly.
open 1v1 with the keeper, and obviously he makes no mistake about it. And again,
And
a late crucial goal, because I don't think anybody there wanted to go to extra time, just with anything that can happen in extra time. But I think even the commentators were talking about it because it's just too stressful.
it is very stressful.
No, I think last thing about the so Julian's gonna be playing at UNCG this coming season with Dovelo and Tatavine. So that's a team to look out for sure. He was super big up. He was a prized possession in the transfer portal, and I do think UNCG's system of using a deep lying playmaker will benefit him and the team well. So that will be
they got a great coach too.
Yeah, he's solid. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how they do, and they could they can make some noise for sure.
Shout out to Chris Rich.
Yeah,
Chris
Rich. Then so we'll talk about the subs one more time, then go into kind of the Vermont community. So what I noticed was, like you said, no starting 11 twice. Chris and the stats did a great job using the subs smartly. So like 60th minute, you would usually see a midfielder get subbed on, right? And like you could pick one name and the level wouldn't drop. Then 75th minute is when you would get subbed on maybe a number 9 or a right winger. Can you explain to me how no one had egos, where like no one was upset coming off, and it felt like there was a good community within the team, where like you said, you do your 60 minutes and you do your 70 minutes, and then you get off, and then whoever's coming on is going to score and make an impact. So what was that mindset as a team, knowing like in a way it was like line changes and it was preconceived, like people knew it was going to happen before it happened?
I think it just goes to show like how I guess maybe humble is the word to use. Like each guy is, like they know that when their time comes, that they need to step up and perform. And I think that just being able to have a good bond with the guys on the team, knowing that like we're here for more than each other and the individual, and more of like, hey, we're here for like the collective and more of the community. I think it goes a long way. I think, after UVM wins the Natty, and we can go down that path in a bit, but I think just the hype around Vermont Green, and then in that sense of, we got some guys on our roster that were a part of that group. Shout out Nicholas Herseg, Ryan Zelfro, Maxi Kissel, Rui Aoki. What a player, by the way.
I know. I was very impressed when I was up there in person, and it was great that the Vermont fan base got to get a preview of what he's going to bring this fall, because I think he was very solid.
He's going to be really good for them, I think, with after losing your 2 starting center backs. You got to fill the shoes, and I think Rui's the guy for that for sure.
Nice. And I think like Raved's a great example too. Like he was in and out of the lineup, wasn't really a mainstay, ends up playing center back one game because of injuries and people leaving, and then he ends up starting 2 or 3 must-win games. And I think that's a great testament to him as a player, but also like just trusting that your time will come, and it's easy to say that when hindsight's 2020, but he just stayed consistent. I know Chris Taylor had an interview with saying like he's like a true professional, so you can kind of touch on him a little bit.
Yeah, Diego, also one of the closest guys that I've gotten to here. Just honestly a great human being. I think it goes a long way to show that he cares about the game, and he knows that everybody in the squad is good enough to play, and just kind of like finding your place. Me and Dylan were touching on this a little bit before, but just for me as well, just knowing that maybe it wasn't my time to play, and just knowing when my opportunity came, I just had to take it and help the team in any way, fashion, form.
No, I agree. And I think it's, I think without that and without that awareness from everyone, you guys probably wouldn't be as successful, because people will get subbed on and have a bad attitude and kind of mope around. And kind of last thing about, the footy side, talk to me about Chris Taylor, coming in his first season. I was always impressed with him. I think he has a great soccer brain and knowledge, and he loves his attacking players, and I think that was on show all season. I think it was a very free-flowing way of playing where, like, you guys had, zones and like rules to follow, but within that, he gave you the freedom to find the game and play like, football.
Yeah.
So what was that like? How was him being a head coach shape you as a player, and as a team, it looked like you guys were playing really good soccer?
Yeah, I think, Adam is kind of more of an organizer, and I think we both know that, Dylan. But I think Chris as a coach is unbelievable. As a person, top guy. Can't speak enough about him, as highly as I do. And just I think him, in his first year, a lot of expectations maybe with the squad that we have and the guys that we have coming in. And I thought he did an outstanding job. I think he handled it perfectly. And, maybe it was tough for some guys that didn't get as much playing time as they wanted. But, at the end of the day, that's how it is at the next level. And I think that's really what not only I tried to instill in the guys, but kind of explain, like, hey, like, if you want this to be your job, like, this might be the situation you're in. And, you just have to kind of switch your mentality a little bit and just be like, if this is going to be my spot in the team, then I have to just do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah, and that's a really good note. When we met up this summer, I
Yeah.
definitely was curious. It's crazy because it's not like you're old, but it's kind of funny because
No.
like you definitely had that like mentoring role, and it was really cool to see because I think especially in this environment, teams need that type of person. And like Jacob Lovovitz
Yeah.
was one of those guys as well. Yeah, about Chris Taylor and the job he did. On the outside looking, or from an outsider's perspective, in knowing the landscape, I think there was a lot of pressure to first and foremost win the division because you guys were so close for so many years. And
Yeah.
it is like a pretty top-heavy one. And that these other programs like Seacoast who kind of had a down year, but that, like, obviously Western Mass, we talked about them, to get that mission completed and then go even a step further, because I feel like I'm sure at the beginning of the season, I don't know, you could probably fill in some blanks here, but I can't imagine on day one everyone's like, we're gonna go win the national championship. Like,
Yeah.
I think the way that I would have seen it is, we have to win this conference, and it means winning every game. And obviously, the team went unbeaten the whole run of the season. But yeah, I can imagine that there was pressure because it's at that point at the beginning of the season, Vermont Green's kind of a household name across the country, and imagine if things didn't work out.
Yeah.
A lot of question marks would be like, oh, well, are they all just hype? Is it just like one of these well-curated rosters that just won't fight for a title? And you guys, I wouldn't say that there were naysayers out there, but to put it all together and actually, win 3 titles, it's pretty great. I think that'll be like the story for quite a while.
Yeah, I think it just shows like Chris did an outstanding job. Adam as well, controlling that and bringing the players in. But it goes also back down to the owners as well, like, them instilling like what the club means to the community and us from the beginning. And I think that stuck with us. I mean, when you play in front of 3,000 fans every weekend, like, it's, you're having fun. And at the end of the day, you just want to enjoy the game and have fun. And I think that's where guys probably play their best footy. So, but yeah.
That's a great transition because we should talk about the community of Vermont. Pat, Sam, and Matt, the 3 owners, they've built something so special. How I describe it to people, it feels like a fever dream, like not really real. Like, the community, the vibe, just the people are so nice and so welcoming, and such a close-knit community. And I think Pfeiffer and Chris recruiting the kinds of players they did are all great people, first and foremost. So talk to me about just the community, like the fans, seeing them out and about, you guys representing Vermont off the field. Like, you speak about the owners because they're just the most humble, just thoughtful human beings I've met in a long, long time ever, to be honest. They care so much about the community. And I think you can see that through Vermont's statement and how they carry themselves.
I think, yeah, at the beginning of the season, I think they gave us a lot of freedom to kind of be who we wanted to be, and they helped us throughout the season on, stuff that maybe was tough for us. But I think focusing on more of like the owners, that's what they wanted to do from the start. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they wanted to create Vermont Green. They wanted to bring this community together, this soccer community that honestly has been here for a long, long time, but I think just now has really grown since UVM's won a natty and Vermont Green's been popular for the last couple of the years. I think it just goes to show that, they're doing something right,
Yeah, and it's definitely become almost like a destination for fans. Like, if you've never been up there, I think a lot of people are like, man, I'd love to go there and check out a game. I mean, you definitely have to do some planning because those tickets go like within the first
seconds.
hour. Yeah.
Like
the final, they said it was like gone in the matter of moments.
Like, I'm picking up pliables for the guys yesterday before the game, like in the morning, and the girl across the counter was like, "Do you have any extra tickets?" I'm like, "No,
No,
I don't. Like, I would love to give you some. Trust me, I would, but I don't. Like, literally, it was you couldn't sniff a ticket.
Nice. Now, before we have some fun quick fire questions, just about the teammates and community, talk to me about some of just the young talent or even old talent on the team that you enjoyed playing with that you could see have a bright future this coming season and maybe in the pros one day.
I think first and foremost we have to talk about Alex Hall. I mean, what a player. I see a lot of myself in him when I was his age, kind of just the way that, I play and, taking guys on 1v1 and, getting to the end line or cutting inside. But I think he didn't play a lot last year in his freshman season. And I think coming here was the best decision he made. And I have to also talk about Gabe Fernandez because they're kind of both in the same boat. And I thought, those two were probably two of our most crucial players in the stretch of the season. And, they have more than enough capability of becoming pros and, developing. I think Jamie from UW is a really good guy and a really good coach. And I think, it just shows when that program is just pumping out pros year after year after year. So it just goes to show the job that he's doing there. I would also say from a young guy's perspective, Amani Thomas. I know you guys touched on him the other night in the ACC, but I mean the kid has the world in front of him. I honestly think he's like the next Alphonso Davies. I really do. Like, I just think the quality that he has, and he's such a young kid and he's so athletic. I think he has a lot of potential in the future.
Now with Thomas, real quick, like people forget how like after the season he had, like was like just turned 18. Like he's so young. So to be that talented, of course, it's tough to fine tune right in any player. But he has a bunch of uncoachable things that he offers, right? With his speed, athleticism, like it's just he's talented. So, and, Bobby Moose and Wake, like players come in good and they leave class. So it's exciting to see how like he can help Wake and how he can carry on.
Another young guy, Brandon Marshall. What a player! I mean, another young guy back there in the center back position, which I think is probably one of the hardest positions to play in USL too, if I'm being honest. But I think he was really rock solid for us this season, and he deserves to be a national champion. I'll say that.
I mean, we used to play pickup.
I know. Back in the day, another Cary kid, Raleigh connection. But from an older standpoint, I would say like the captains this year were really good. I think they instilled in us, what we wanted to do from the beginning of the season, and like you said before, Dill, it was and Mark too, like it was really to win the division. That was the whole goal this year, and then go from there. But I think just after what happened at Lusitano, and I think Chris said it very well. Like after you do that, you can do anything. You believe you can do anything. You believe you can come back from anything. So I think again, it just goes to show like kind of what Vermont Green and what Vermont, the community is about.
Awesome. So you want to do the quick fire questions, and then we can shout out some of the best places.
Yeah.
Oh, also shout out to the Maryland boys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
excited.
We'll talk about them.
Yeah, if you weren't gonna bring it up, we definitely were.
Luca, Joe, and Stefan and GK, just really really quality players, also great people. I think they have a really good opportunity and chance to win the Natty this year.
That's a talented team.
Very talented. Yeah, a lot of experience too.
Yeah, and a highly experienced coach
he's been around. He's been done
he's
that.
Been
He knows
in his own right.
Who wouldn't let the boys come back and play with us? But it's okay.
Hey, you guys got it done, but you have to respect it. All right.
You gotta do what you gotta do to win a national championship, right?
I feel you. So you ready? First couple are going to be soccer questions, right?
Okay.
And give us details, right? We like the details. So who's the closest on the team to you? Like best friend?
Probably a Skeel, actually. They call him the Norwegian Nightmare.
Nice.
We came on to ice out the game last night.
Yeah, became really close. He's a really good guy, and another guy that kind of like a Reved that he played a little bit during the season, but when we needed him most, he stepped up, and get big props to him. Excited to see how he does at Drake in the fall.
Yeah.
We'll bring up a couple other Drake guys later.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a nice little court over there in Nebraska, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who are the two best friends of the team? Always with each other, side by side.
You got it. The Julian and Arnaud, Tatavan, those guys are like this.
They're close.
Yeah. If it wasn't those two, it'd probably be Kissel and Zelfro. Those guys are tight.
Tight.
I mean, I can't imagine you're not tight with the guy you just won 2 natties with, but
that's very true. Who has the best touch?
I gotta say Julian, and I should have probably sent you the clip before this, Mark. The touch he had in the one game, I don't know if you saw this.
I saw. I'm gonna try to find it.
Yeah, he got played the ball from Nicholas, I think, and he like goes behind and like touches it across his back or something. It was insane. Like, Dill, you remember?
No, yeah, I remember seeing it. And I was like, he's flexible.
It was unreal.
That was wild that he did that.
I'm like, you're just doing that in a USL 2 game, like calmly.
Yeah, especially as a CDM, like whipping that out, like it's crazy.
Unreal. I would say Julian probably.
Most skillful.
That's a good question. I think Arnaud is probably like the best with his feet, but also like most skillful, like taking guys on 1v1. I'd probably say Zach, just because he's just so dynamic and he can go right, he can chop it, he can go left, he'll chop you again. He's just so good.
Best shot. So good. Best shot.
Oh, best shot. We had a player on the team, Will Solwin, D3 player at Middlebury. Let me tell you, this guy's a player.
Solid.
He could be in a D1 program, you know,
Mhm.
if he wanted to. But, you know, he wants to go to school and pursue that, and that's great.
Shout out,
But
yeah.
I would say from a shooting form and you know, style, it's him by far. He strikes the ball unbelievable.
Last soccer one, best shot cutting in from the left. You can say it. Yeah, I've backed
No.
it.
Jagbe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Like both of
Jagbe is
you.
cutting from the right into the left.
Yeah.
Banged one. Yeah.
All right. So some Vermont community questions, right? And if anyone,
Well, first we'll.
yeah.
Yeah. Just
Matt,
to
you can
keep-
talk about that.
Well,
I know,
you
Mark,
know
sorry,
that
the Twins.
me and my brother were big Buffalo Bills fans, so
Yeah.
we always got to know about the tailgate. I know a little bit from my time up there, but you were obviously there all season. I will note, last night they sold out the beer by like the 55th minute. So
I mean, the line was like around the corner, like on the street. Like people were just waiting to get into the game. People were waiting at like 9 a.m. just to sit like on the fence line.
yeah,
Like I think that just again shows like the community and the tailgating scene is, you know, we show up like 2 hours before the game. There's fans already there with tents out, like drinking, having a good time. Like yeah, I think it just again like shows like the community is just so big here that the future just holds, you know, really, really big things for them.
yeah. All right, we got that one covered, Dylan.
Favorite restaurant in Burlington, Owen?
Okay,
BB
so can I say one and then do an honorable mention?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
give me what you
Okay.
order though, with the details.
All right, so we gotta go with skinny pancake probably.
Crepes.
Yeah, really good. And then honorable mention probably BB Coke, but also Felino's is really good as well too. So
What's the crepe order from Skinny?
I'm just a Nutella guy. I'm easy like that.
You're basic.
Wow, what was yours, Dylan?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like the healthy kind. There was like a feta chicken one. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, Dill.
After a game, I'm getting the Nutella. I'm cultured when it comes to that food stuff. You know that.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, favorite bar.
We went to Re-Raws last night with the cup. All the guys came and the staff just enjoyed the night. But no, it was a great time.
Nice. Downtown Boardwalk or North Beach?
North Beach.
You love the beach, yeah. I see it. Favorite Ben and Jerry's ice cream flavor because it is in Vermont.
Oh, that's a really good question. Do you eat it like that, Dill? Like, do you know like the flavor?
I know it like that. Yeah. I can give you mine if you want, just some inspiration.
You're probably like a Cherry Garcia guy.
No, ew. I like the milk and cookies.
Milk and cookies is good.
That's a staple.
I like the Tonight's though.
Mm-hmm.
I like anything cookie though. Cookie dough is good.
I feel that. What about you,
What
Mark?
about you, Mark? Yeah. what
Yeah,
about
come
you?
on now. You gotta say vanilla or something.
No, oh come on, dude.
Sure, okay.
The ageism is not cool.
I'm done. That was the last one for the night.
Yeah, I'm not a big probably like salted caramel or something like that.
He doesn't know about good berries though, Dill. Good
No,
berries.
no one knows about good berries. That's an NC staple. All right, next one. You ready? Favorite memory with a fan.
Favorite memory with a fan. Okay, so I would say that this season it was really cool. I met these two guys. I think one of them owns like a graphic design thing, but they made shirts that say O'Malley we trust, and they just like printed it on like a bunch of random shirts that they had, which I thought was pretty funny. But I think like just like seeing stuff like that just makes you like really humble, like that you play the game for more than just yourself. You know, you're playing for people that are, you know, putting your last name on their shirt or on the back of their jersey. So I mean, just unreal.
I like it. Now, same kind of question. What's your favorite community memory off the field? So something you did as a team for the community, whether it was coaching kids or visiting a place.
Yeah. Do you know Craig?
Yeah, from
Yeah.
the after
So
school care.
yeah. So
Yeah.
from Nordic,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has us out a lot, and we like to engage with the kids as much as possible. You know, I think it's good. Like I'll say, and I think you could attest to this too, Dill. Like imagine being a kid and experiencing like this in Vermont Green. Like you would be the biggest soccer fan in the world.
Yeah.
Like, you would want to, that's all you would want to do, I feel like. Especially like the way that we grew up, soccer was all that we did.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that we had that as kids. Like it was cool to go watch, the U19s academy or whatever, but
But it wasn't the
you know, you,
same.
no, it's not the same. And these kids are getting to get signed autographs after the game. They're engaging with the guys on the team. I think it goes a long way.
Yeah, it's like the best example is like me and you. We watch Neymar and Messi on the TV, but they're watching like they still watch Messi in them, but
But this is their
physically
Messi and
go.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, like
Like
them
this
holding the
is
cup after, like they're gonna remember that for the rest of their lives.
like if I had $1 for every time a kid asked me for like a shin guard or a boot or like something like that, I'd be so rich.
Yeah,
Like,
you can buy a lot of Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
and like it's tough because like I'm paying for this stuff on my own, but but it means the world to them, so
Yeah.
it's just sometimes you gotta maybe be like, here's a shin guard or here's a sock,
Yeah.
so
Next one is favorite jersey and why. We know Matt Wolf is the legend when it comes to the jerseys. Absolutely unreal. So, what's your favorite?
dude,
Tough one because there's no bad one.
the Nigeria kit that he did for the World Cup that year,
Yeah,
I think that was fire.
Now, what about Vermont one? You have to choose a Vermont one as well.
Oh, a Vermont one. Sorry,
the Nigeria. That's a great shout.
Okay, so the first season, they kind of brought it back this year, but it's not really the same jersey. So our away from this year was kind of the away from the first year, but I think the color here was green. It wasn't like fully, yeah, it wasn't like fully beige or whatever color that is. I think that was my favorite jersey. Also, the one you got back there.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Dylan,
that one.
You didn't follow through.
I know. I can hold it up though and do like a Julian celebration if you want. No.
Let's see it. Go grab it.
I'll go grab it.
Yeah, because I don't know if I mean, I hope a lot of the fans remember that Dylan Lane was in fact a player for the Vermont Green.
Hey, Dylan played Open Cup appearances for Vermont Green.
Cup
I actually didn't play. I just made them get me a jersey to fit in. No, but what about you, Mark? What's your favorite? This one?
Yeah, probably that one. I think it like. I guess when people think of Vermont, they just think of like the nature side of things, and I think that one showcases it really well. Yeah. I mean, I will jump in here real quick, Dylan. I don't want to.
No, we're chilling.
I do have a point to make about after Owen's speed round there about like favorite restaurant and stuff.
Oh yeah, give your shout out.
Yeah, I just for any of the like true soccer fans out there in the United States, I definitely encourage people we'll go through some of the top programs that I think are doing a really good job and some really cool locations. But if you've followed me before this, or if you're new to what I do, I love to road trip. So I've been to a lot of different universities over the years, a lot of the USL League Two cities and different facilities they have, and so going to Burlington this summer, it's definitely all it's cracked up to be. A lot of cool restaurants, a lot of cool bars. I think I was there for like 4 days, even went out to Stowe. Cool little town out there. But yeah, I definitely, the reason why I bring this up is I just want to encourage people who may like be on the fence about going places, but
like, oh, it's Vermont, like kind of like, but like, there's all other across of the country, so big. There's so many different places that you like. Boise's
yeah.
getting a League One team next year.
Yeah,
Like
so many.
Yeah.
that's gonna be a Buffalo is getting a USL
Yeah.
championship team. Like these
And,
are
like,
spots that are
Annapolis
gonna that I mean
is sick.
that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. There's so many of those places, and we're
Asheville.
gonna definitely Asheville.
Asheville reminds me of Vermont, the same kind of vibe, like nature,
Ballard,
like good community.
Oh yeah,
Flint,
Ballard too, because I went
Flint
there
City,
and it was sick. Yeah, Des Moines.
Des
They have a
Moines,
pretty iconic
Peoria.
program. Yeah. So yeah, make a trip of it.
What was your favorite restaurant or bar down there?
I liked Pizzeria Verita. What's the chuckle?
Yeah, it's a good spot.
I was like, I'm about to defend it with my life. I thought
Yeah.
it was very good.
Solid spot.
Yeah, and me and Tyler, we went to BKK. I don't even know if that kid ever had Thai food before, but
Underrated Thai.
he enjoyed it. But it was a good spot. Very cool, like vibe in there. Yeah, I went to a few bars. I did like Rira, so that was a cool thing that they hooked you guys up last night.
Yeah, the shout out to them for that. That was awesome.
Yeah, actually pretty good. I had the poutine because,
You got to.
yeah, I grew up. So again, for other people who don't know, I grew up in Niagara County, New York, so not too far at all from Canada. So I was like almost an honorary Canadian at one point. But yeah, anyway, we can move on to your last question, and maybe we can come up with a few more if we have some in the chat.
Yeah. Anyone in the chat, if you have a question about Owen, like getting recognized in public or being the mayor of Vermont, like ask away.
When's
These are
the
good, fun
statue
questions.
coming?
There's no questions off limit. I'm joking. There is. No, but so Pat, Sam, and Matt, and I'll add Pfeiffer and Chris. Those five. You're the gaffer. Where are you putting them in the starting 11 and why?
Like in positions?
Positions and why are you putting them there?
Oh my gosh.
So you have the three owners, and the two head honchos.
All right. I gotta play Chris at the 6. For sure.
Because of the mind or what?
Yeah. Probably throw Adam at the 9. Hold up striker. Matt is like fast. Like Matt, it's got wheels. Throw him out on the wing. Maybe throw Sam Glickman out on the other wing. And then
That's a three-headed snake up there for the up.
And then just put Pat Inferno at the 10. There's your spine of the team right there.
That's a solid team. I don't know undefeated, but they'll win some games.
Yeah, for sure.
If there's any more questions anyone else has.
Yeah, we can always circle back.
Yeah, feel free to ask.
I think the next stage of the program should definitely be since we're a college soccer show, we definitely want to highlight where some of these guys are going.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one from my brother again. So the travel, I know I've heard some stories about like the bus trips and just it's not that fun to even like, go out to Seacoast on the bus through the mountains and stuff, but I forget like how far you got because you guys.
Oh, and tell them about the
hosted a lot of
first year
playoffs,
too.
So.
Yeah, I was
school bus.
gonna say the first year is night and day from year 4. First year we were taking the yellow school bus down to Boston with no AC. Windows down there, windows down on the way back. It's raining out. You still got to go windows down. So just like things like that are just good memories to have, and I think just it shows again like how the owners have just propelled this to be what it is today and what it can be in the future.
All right, yeah. So what I was saying as well, because that's, I think even during the playoffs when a lot of teams had to be going like quite some distance, I'm pretty sure USL League Two has it in the budget to kind of help out teams for that, like the large travel.
So apparently, the owners, so like the teams, like if we host and we have to pay for other teams' travel and like their stay here, like
Yeah,
that's kind of, which
I
I
mean,
guess makes
it makes
sense.
sense because I mean, didn't Dothan? I mean, that's kind of a long trip. I don't even know where they'd have to fly out of.
Yeah, no, that's
Birmingham, maybe.
Lions, Bridget
Yeah, or
Cove too.
like Tallahassee or something because they're right at the bottom corner. But I heard that's a really nice town for anyone who's around that Gulf Coast. Make that trip up there. I heard really good things. Um,
They have a cool fan base
They had
too.
like 8,000 fans the last regular season game. It's something
I
crazy.
yeah,
I was talking to some of the owners after the game because they have a bunch of like joint owners. You know, there's like 8 to 10 of them, I think, but just like really good people, and you know, they were really nice with the way they handled everything, and just good shout out to them for
yeah,
being
for sure.
professional.
And we'll definitely at least highlight a couple, not like video highlight, but we're going to go through a few of the players on a few different programs and where you can find them this fall. But we're going to start with Vermont Green because obviously you are around these guys every day. Me and Dylan, we've watched a lot of the season. So um, obviously, USL League Two Defender of the Year, Musa and I won last year at VCU. He was, I don't know, Dylan, if you want to like take it over, but
No, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you know,
all conference first team, kind of the stalwart there.
yeah, 17 matches. He had a career high 1,520 minutes. I sum him up as he's composed, he's calming in the back line, and he's athletic. He's comfortable on both sides of the back line, which is impressive because he's right-footed. Usually, as a left center back, and you're right-footed, your go-to is to play back to the right center back. But he's so comfortable driving into space, and even in the final, we saw some chip balls to Zangy on that left side. He's a solid passer, and like one thing about him is just his presence. He is vocal, even though people think he's considered like quieter. But I mean, he leads by example. I think off the field, one of the nicest, most humble players and human beings ever. Just wants to play soccer. I remember on the off days, and Pfeiffer was like, "You have to rest Musa." He's like, "I don't want to. I want to play." But it's like, like that's just the kind of kid he is.
Hmm.
And I mean, we talked about this, like the future's so bright for him because he's also played CDM for Vermont in the past and even VCU. So, I mean, you can talk more about him. And I have another funny story with Musa, but go ahead, Owen. Like, I mean, if you watch Vermont, Musa is the player of the year, like up there, because he's such the staple.
100%. And I think like, you know, having a guy like that back there helps the team entirely. I think I, I don't know if it showed the clip earlier, but he had a goal line clearance last night. You know, probably should have been 1-0 Ballard, and you know the guy clears it off the line. So
Yeah, I think I
it's
do
just
have that and when we cover Ballard later, but yeah.
it just goes to show like the type of player he is, and then, like Dylan said, the type of person he is on and off the field.
Yeah,
Top.
and like, yeah, and one final story. I remember like after training one day, we got pretty close, and we would get like lunch after, and there was one training wasn't the most intense, so we were doing like full field sprints. And I was like, okay, like I'm considering myself pretty fit, me, Owen, back in the day. And I was like, okay, Moose, like, what do you want to do? And he's like, let's just do like, like 10. I'm like, okay, like relax, like I thought 2 or 3, call it a day. So we did 10, and I got 10 with him. Then I'm like, okay, like let's go. Like, what do you want to go for lunch? He's like, no, we do 10 more. And then I was like, I'm gonna go stretch, but I'll see you later. But like, like it's funny, but it's like he's a grinder and he loves the game and he loves getting better. So that's someone that be on the lookout for. And I mean, his partner, Brandon Marshall, Providence center back. Last season, he played 21 games with 9 starts. But even though not too many starts, he logged over 1,761 minutes. Similar to Musa, good size, but calm with and without the ball. Some center backs, they can be sporadic and dive into challenges. He's always in control. Also, great passer, good passing range. One thing we talked about is being more consistent with that driven ball to the inverted winger. I know Ballard caught that out a couple times, but like his upside is unbelievable. And I know you got close with him because you knew him before Vermont, but tell me
Yeah.
a little about him, his play style, and like, playing with him 24/7 this past summer.
I think him and Musa just back there together is, a dream pairing. And, I know we touched on this before a little bit, but you look at, all the other guys that have been in pairings with Musa have gotten drafted. So maybe it's a matter of time until Brandon's one of those guys. But, I really think it's definitely Musa's turn, and Brandon has definitely a lot of time on his hands before he needs to be ready. But I think the future's bright for him.
Yeah, and there's like obviously he's with Providence, and there's a couple other guys from that have put on the green jersey. Obviously, everyone knows by now Ian Abbey, but Pierce
Javork.
O'Brien was also there
Yeah.
for a little bit. Yeah, so there was definitely a good little Providence College contingent there.
If Pierce stays healthy, he's one of the most dangerous attacking mid kind of inverted wingers there is. Like, he's talented, technical, spent time overseas too, so he's a good resume, and Providence will be dangerous for sure.
I think Providence is, and I hate to say this because I'm a Crane guy, but I think Providence is going to be the team to watch for in the Big East this year.
Yeah, it'll be good to see.
I
And
mean, Georgetown might not want to hear that opinion, but
we'll see.
yeah, we're going to cover Georgetown eventually as well. But yeah, who else?
I know
is on the list?
We talked about Diego Rivera. We don't have to go too much into detail, but one thing I liked about he was the 2024 Patriot Midfield of the Year, second most minutes on the team. He helped Boston go back-to-back titles. I think with him, he's one of those CDMs that he kind of can go unnoticed because he just is simple and he's consistent. But I think his partnership with Julian and whatever other, like Zelafra even, he did the dirty work and just made sure the other six could thrive offensively. And I think you need that in a team. So I feel like his work got unnoticed, but when he was called upon, he was so steady and so consistent.
I agree.
So then your boy Ryan Zelafro, I mean, after the season he had with Vermont, in Vermont he played in the right mid in a 4-4-2. So seeing him this summer in kind of a more deep lying playmaker role was cool to see. And we did a write up on him that we're going to post soon. But it's tough when you're a coach and you have a player that can play 3 or 4 positions really well, because it's like, okay, we can use you, but where do we use you? But he showed his versatility. Like, the announcers also said the reason he played so much in Vermont was because he was a dog. Like, he competed. So you add that dog mentality with his technical ability and his soccer IQ, whether it's winger, attacking mid, 6. I mean, it's a good problem to have if you're a coach, like where to put him.
100%.
And he did put in a nice goal off of your assist.
Yeah. A little connection.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't even know he was coming. Then he kind of just was like, oh. And I just was like, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And then he did quality from him to do the rest. But
yeah, that was a really nice one. Yeah, and like obviously playing on the University of Vermont's field, you got Herseg, Kissel, Marcel Pop, and then we touched on him a little bit, but Rui Oki transferred from UMass Lowell, and yeah, so you guys staying close to home, I guess you could say. And yeah, what a good little contingent there. They opened the season preseason poll #1, obviously, because they won the national championship. But yeah, I think
it'll be interesting. Like, they have good transfers, a good core coming back. I know the missing big pieces, like the center back partnership and Yaniv Bazzini, but I mean, you have Kissel, who has already scored 2 game-winning national championship goals. That's not a bad player to have leading the line,
And then you get your starting left back, Nick Lockerman.
Yeah,
he's also another guy to look out for. And David Ismail as well was another player on the team last year. But I think what Rob Dow's done at Vermont is unbelievable, and I think that they're going to be very good for the next couple of years to come.
For sure. So next player is Zach Zangi, of course, from Georgetown, first team All East region, first team All Big East, Columbus Crew draft pick like 2 seasons ago. And from what I've seen, when he burst onto the scene in Vermont in 2023, he was like the quick, dynamic number 10, scoring goals and creating chances for his teammates. And to see his evolution, he's the same player he was, but to see his leadership of becoming a captain and just being a good teammate, I touched on it earlier with Tatavine when he missed that chance. Zengi was the first one to go and like touch his shoulder and be like, hey, next one. Throughout the season, helping players up, motivating them. Then he does moments of magic like the goal against Western Mass away, the backheel goal home. So I think these last 3 seasons with Vermont has been the best thing for him because it's molded him into a mature playmaker and like a leader now that he can carry into Georgetown. So what's like playing with him and his mindset that's helped the team.
He's a robot, dude. This guy is unreal. He'll work on the field, do extra, and then go to the gym for an hour. He's just built for this, and he's also another one of the closest guys that I've gotten to with on the team. But just a top person, and his mindset is he wants to be the best player in the world, and that's going to take him very, very far.
Yeah, I mean his like marks. We talked about it too. Like he's just sprinting at the center backs and at the goalkeeper in extra time in the 80th minute, 70th minute, and like we talked about, we love players that can defend on both sides. And as 10s, as a 10, you don't want to defend, right? Even as a winger, you don't want to defend. But you add his ability on top of the work rate of him defending. I mean, that's a coach's dream.
Yeah, and we've talked about that a lot before, and I'm sure we'll repeat this throughout the season. I think the way you and I have seen this, Dylan, it's for any of the attacking players out there, there's 20 dudes on the field, and you might only get 1 or 2 goals a game, if that. Obviously, we see blowouts and teams do really well offensively, but to expect an attacker to score every game, it's not always realistic. And from a coaching standpoint, it's like, well, obviously we need to score goals, but we also, there's so many other phases of the game that we need contribution. And it's players like Zenge, Tyler Trimnell was doing it because he's a workhorse at the 9. Yeah, like any of the attackers that are willing to press and do or some dirty work to help out, even when you're tucked in your own half or they're passing the ball around the back line and we want to apply some pressure, it's like adding all of those components together and being that type of player is such an unrecognized attribute. And I'm glad that you guys touched on that for him.
No, for sure. I think a trio is the UNCG trio, the Frenchman. Like, yeah. I mean, you can talk about that, Mark. Like, they're just to build that chemistry going into the season is huge.
Yeah, and you had that post about Labordeluz. We've talked about Tatavine a lot. Davlo was one that we hadn't talked about that much because just because of the playoff run. Was he around the team? I think he might have went back or something.
So Enzo had to go back to France for some I-20 things, and then
okay.
He went back to school. So he didn't end up coming back, but I would say he was a big piece for us in the beginning of the season, kind of establishing like establishing like our dominance in the league. I would say, like we wanted to come out strong this year and kind of, obviously like how it is in USL 2, you basically got to win every game to win your division. We're going into the last game of the season against Western Mass, and we could lose the division, and we'd have 1 loss all season, which I think is crazy. So I think Enzo was a big piece at the beginning of the season for us.
And fun fact about Enzo, he played left back his freshman year at UNCG because of some injuries. Like he played left back, but I remember playing against him, and I was like, this isn't a left back. Like he was a good, solid defender, but going forward, he was just bombing down, fast drop of the shoulder. So next year he was playing right wing, and then that's when I was like, okay, like him holding the width, and then Julian creating in the middle, and Tatavine dropping in, it's going to be a handful for opponents.
Yeah, and a couple other top players from that program at UNCG. Mohamed Soumaila,
Yeah.
and he played at Dothan. And then Isa Haruna, Asheville City. Those two players, even going into the summer, I thought they looked really good last fall. So they definitely will have a strong team, and I think they've probably added a couple more guys leading into this season. But yeah, I don't think that it'll still be a Greensboro Gardner Webb showdown.
Yeah,
But
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, no. Then UNCG are going to look dangerous for the SoCon for sure. Then we talked about Alex Hall. We can talk about that again. One thing that I talked about is first half he's solid. Don't get me wrong, but something happens in the second half where he just completely flips a switch, and he just looks more dynamic and more quick, and he makes those runs inside more. And I mean, I jokingly said it's because he wants to celebrate with the fans, but doesn't take away from his first half. But he's just, like you said, sky's the limit. He's only going to go into his sophomore year. So if he can have that consistency of his second half the whole game, I know that's tough, right? That's asking a lot. But like I said, he's been some of the highest quality player in those second half games.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been one of our best players all season, most consistent. And, he's another type of guy that doesn't get enough credit because, we didn't have Simi for, the whole back end of the season before playoffs. Like Simi was coming back from injury, and we needed a right back, and who stepped up? Alex Hall, and he hadn't played right back before, and I think like him stepping up just gave him more confidence to be the player he was throughout the end of the season.
For sure.
Yeah, so we've definitely, we've obviously touched on the UNCG contingent, the Vermont contingent, Providence, and Maryland. I do want you guys to talk a little bit more about Joseph Picoto, because I mean he was lights out throughout the regular season. I think he's obviously coming in from UMBC, transferring to Maryland. It's one of the Dylan and I think we're going to try to do a transfer focused episode at some point leading up to the season when all the rosters are like set in stone, because we do want to talk about like who won the transfer portal. But yeah, Sasho bringing in NGK and Picoto, and he already had Castille. So but definitely give us an impression of what Maryland fans can expect from Picoto.
I mean, from a personal standpoint, just a good guy and good guy to have in the locker room. From a playing standpoint, he's just brilliant. I mean, imagine having him and Julian in the middle together. That's like a dream midfield. But I think I can't express enough how good Joseph is and how good he is on the ball. But I think, like I said before, I think Maryland have a very good opportunity of winning a national championship this year.
Yeah, I think him and Joseph and Julian, like similar players. Joseph is a little bit more like stocky and bigger, but he can still move really well. Same kind of vibe. Like I think he's the best with a double pivot, and kind of he's the one that pushes forward and finds the ball. He can also finish too, that we've seen this season. But like he's a player where like you kind of let him kind of drift and find the game and get on the ball. Like you said, we saw the Vermont games and it was Joseph and Julian in the midfield, and they were basically doing the Owen Rondo game sometimes. Yep. Like it's having a midfield that's composed is, I mean, any team wants that.
And he'll definitely have that at Maryland with Leon Cole. Yeah. So, yeah, talk about a stacked roster. With the upgrade, adding in GK into the attack with Colin Griffith and Saddam Masareka.
And GK is a handful. Like
he's front three.
And I think Steph's a very good player, and he's going to get a lot of like not eyes from like more of like a professional standpoint, or more like eyes just in the game. Like
Yeah.
he's just gonna guys are just gonna get attracted to him because he's got the ball and he's flary, and I think he's just gonna have to decide when to go and when to give the ball up. I think that's gonna be a real not challenge for him this season, but I think he's gonna have to just figure out when it's time to take guys 1v1 because the guy, I mean, he's unbelievable. You saw what he's done this during the Vermont Green season. He's like flicking it over guys and doing rainbows and shit. But like, I
Our
think
first swear word on the podcast.
Oh, hey, an hour 35 minutes in. That's better than I expected.
I think that's like 6 hours and 40 minutes.
I respect it. It's
my
fine.
bad, my bad, my bad.
No,
my
no,
bad.
don't be
No,
sorry.
it's
It
not
happened.
actually not
But
even
like-
a big deal.
But
You
like
can-
but like I'm just saying, all the shit he does is just like
And he doubles down.
it's unreal.
No, you're
It's
good.
No,
unreal.
it's true. All right.
But no, I think just him. He has everything in front of him. He has all the tools. I just want to see him.
And like for those
Be
kinds
able
of
to-
players, it's like a blessing and a curse. Like in regard, like because like he could dribble past his defender each time if he wants.
Mhm.
And what's good is, like you said, if he attracts the players and then you play a through ball, then you do a combination. So it's just how it is like, as like a skillful winger. It's picking and choosing what's best because you don't want to be too one-sided. So I feel
Exactly.
like I said, but like with that Maryland team, all three of these players that played for Vermont, they're going to be successful with the great coach they have. And I mean, they can make, if they stay consistent and healthy, they can make some noise.
I agree.
Well, I think we're officially leaving the Vermont Green stage of the program, and I do want to start out. So basically, I guess I envision the last bit here to go through some different top names in terms of like the players we saw this summer, and we'll start with Ballard. I know Dylan had a post out there for Richie Amon, Joe Dale, Charlie Kosakov. I think in the final, missing Harry Bertos in the back. Obviously, he was drafted by San Diego in the most recent draft. I think I do want to, even though he didn't play last night, we're moving into talking about the players and where they're going. But yeah, another year at Washington, and he's just such a beast in terms of like a center back who just loves to defend and he loves a challenge. Like I was Owen, we can cut you loose, buddy.
It's all good. It's all good. I just wanted to say one thing about the UW guys, but I think
Yeah.
I think yesterday in the game they just showed the quality that they have in their front three, and I think that if you put Alex Hall right behind Charlie Kozakov, I think you have probably one of the best attacks in the country. And I think they could be really good this season with Harrison and Gabe back there. I think some other pieces. I think they could be really good.
Yeah,
But-
for sure. They're definitely going to be a program to watch.
But no, thank you guys for having me on, and you know how much this means to me, and I love you guys.
Of course, bro.
Yeah,
Likewise.
love you too, buddy. Yeah, I'm hoping we get some news for get all the. I'll say it for you. Let's get this guy a 25-day contract. all he needs to do is show you what he can do, and we've seen it already.
Playing wing, he'll be good. Trust.
Impact player.
But no, thank you guys so much, and this is fun to watch you guys do this, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
Of course. I appreciate the time, Owen.
Yeah,
Of course.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course, see you guys.
Peace.
See ya. Whoops. I was trying to remove him, but when he signed off, it just disappeared anyway. So
No, I think like you were
Yeah.
saying, Bertos was a big miss. I think that was, like he was drafted for a reason, brings great composure, left foot as well. So
yeah, and I do want to say for him as well, it's like having been at Ballard for the U.S. Open Cup game against Spokane Velocity, I mean, all those guys like Filibosian at the 6 and Bertos, if you just knew nothing about the teams, you would have assumed that Ballard was a pro team.
Yeah.
With the way because if I remember correctly, like the whole first half, they basically had control of the game, and they lost in extra time. But yeah, for Bertos, it's like a defender who not only is like okay in duels, but like it's funny.
Good.
It looks like he just straight up loves it. Like he
Yeah.
wants it. And having an aggressive center back who can do it legally, yeah, he's a fun player to watch. I love his intensity, but he's also just a very smart player in the back. So yeah, and like even during the game last night, like I thought Vermont was more moving their possession style was a little different than Ballard's. They were more patient in their build up. They were just kind of swinging it side to side, waiting to see like what pathways opened up. While the technical ability, especially for that front three and Dale and Eamon, especially with how quick footed they are, their possession style was a little bit more tight combinations. So like I had a graphic I put on Twitter talking about like the passing and pass completion and just the stages of the game. But that was one of the things I noticed, and Eamon himself is just like he's a interesting dribbler because he's kind of unassuming.
Yeah.
Like his acceleration with the ball is so good that he just creates separation even against some top defenders.
And like we talked about, like you don't think it looking at him, but I mean he dropped his shoulder multiple times last night that caused problems driving inside, and he's kind of like that sneaky fast and sneaky quick winger it's difficult to defend against.
Yeah, like here's some of his successful dribbles of yesterday. So that was like his first shot,
and he uses his body well. Like he is skinny and lengthy, but like he can bounce off well. Like that's a good trait to have as a winger, especially if you're undersized. Like right there, like that's like a simple yet deadly move as a left winger who's right-footed.
Yeah, and what is interesting about all these guys is because Dale also has the shifty elusiveness, quick feet. Alex Hall also has that. It's like, what's up or what's going on or what's in the training regimen? And
well, I know like
a lot of agility and just like footwork drills because
Washington
they all have quick feet. Kossakov is the same way, quick feet.
And they've always played a 4-4-2, I would say, and I think it relies on the right mid and left mid to be kind of, be able to go up and down, but also be some of the main attackers of the offense. Usually in like a 4-2-3-1, you have wingers high and wide and that tend to drift, but in a 4-4-2, you need their outside mids to create, because if not, you can't rely on just 2 nines, because if they don't have service, they can't get goals. But like right here, for example, like running down, dangerous ball across, like that's something that he's done for countless games, both for Ballard and Washington.
Yeah, this is just like a little bit of an extension.
I think Apollinaroff was good as well. The San Diego State midfielder. I thought him and worked well together as the 2 6s, like you said.
Yeah,
they were more like 5-10 yards with each other, so it was a quick combination play. But I thought they were composed, especially given the circumstances with the crowd and Vermont pressing high. But there was times they played through Vermont easily.
Yeah, and obviously I mentioned Andre Filibosian, but Luke Hammond's also maybe not like as noticeable maybe last night. Just maybe given he had a few really good plays, but in some of the games that I saw, especially in that U.S. Open Cup game, like he is such a neat, like little
tidy left
back, but he's also like despite, I mean, usually outside backs are quick and they're not huge, but I mean, he's another one who's up for the fight. Like he doesn't shy away from tackles.
Yeah, he had a good first half play. Like he opened up and did a 1-2, then sprinted inside. Like a left back who is confident putting his head down and driving with that ball. I mean, it's a good trait to have. Like Bernardo Preco comes to mind when I used to play with him in Vermont. I would do like a bounce pass, and I just knew he would take off. And it's dangerous because if you lose it, right, your right back's out. But it's a dangerous game to play, right? So high risk, high reward. And that time he did do that, he took 3 or 4 Vermont players out the game.
Yeah.
So I think I don't mind an undersized outside back, but they have to make it up with technical ability.
Yeah, and he certainly has that. And I will also say, what a deliverer of the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love his ball playing ability for that. So, I think we're going to kind of like almost speed round. I think we can do it in the next 15 minutes here. But, this kind of connection, obviously, between USL League Two and NCAA soccer, they almost go hand in hand. And we, throughout the ACC stuff, we kind of touched on a few. We definitely talked about the players, but we might not have mentioned exactly where they played over the summer. But, some of the guys that have impressed leading into the fall, Jack Lewis, Virginia Beach United, I thought he was really solid. And obviously he pretty much played every game for Louisville in his freshman season. That FC Motown team was stacked. Danny Etcheria, Princeton, also drafted. Kenny Hott, senior year, Duke, played there as well. Micah Garnett, Portland. Mo Williams has graduated, but he was such a very good center back.
Yeah.
One of the top performances in the league wide. Joaquin Nihenke at Penn. Another really good. He's a bigger left back, but the contributions to the attack and just full field ability, definitely a player to look out for if you're in the Philadelphia area. Obviously, Tay Healy is kind of an icon in the USL League Two after winning the championship last year with Seacoast. He wound up joining Lions Bridge in the playoff run, and that was
when I saw that Lions Bridge was playing Vermont, the first thing I thought was like he's gonna bag 2 goals. Because it's like that was Vermont's kryptonite when he played at Seacoast. Him and Conde up top just was so dangerous. And then they're going to now play together in NC State. Then you add Phillip in that, Donovan Phillip from Flint City.
Yeah,
that's a
Golden
very
Boot
good
winner.
3.
Yeah, and I guess since we're on the topic of Lions Bridge, it's like Ricky Lewis for Georgia Southern was, what an unbelievable summer he had. Yeah, unassuming because I don't think too many people really watch too much of Georgia Southern, but they had such a good roster last year with
Harvey was one wing and Ricky was the other. And like Ricky too has versatility. Georgia Southern used him up top with Holmes sometimes in a 4-4-2, but then sometimes as a right winger. But like same thing with Ricky, like natural speed, dynamic with the ball. I think of course his final product could be a little bit better. But as a young player, that's stuff you can work on. But he's just a player like as an outlet and just someone on the counter, it's you give him the ball, Yeah,
and some MLS scouts would say like elite physical attributes, and he definitely has all that.
Yeah.
Kind of same country of origin, but since I do some things or I've been on some podcasts with the Philadelphia Union writers that are good friends of mine, with Danley John Jock, obviously a different position because he's a 6, but the way they move is pretty similar.
Yeah.
So if you imagine like a Danley, if he were a right winger, that's kind of a Ricky Lewis, which is a really cool thing. And I'm actually surprised Jose's still with us at approaching 10 o'clock, but Danley. But yeah, like Dennis Kruchenkov, Davidson now transfers to Charlotte.
And that's a bags, man. Get him in the box, like poacher, big good size, like some good speed for his size to be fair, but his game And the way Charlotte plays, they can develop nines and get nines goals,
Yeah,
So I think,
especially with Ogata. He's one
yeah,
of my favorite players around this area. This
so
Japanese
technical.
attacking midfielder. He's crazy good to watch, and I think having a natural finisher like Kruchenkov, because I've always been impressed with him at Davidson and even obviously with Lionsbridge. Like if you give him the ball, his first touch is really clean and it's like a quick trigger. He's not like a freak athlete, but his close control and quick fire with
He looks
great,
for the shot quick. Yeah.
yeah, and he can find the windows, and before you know it, he's already got like 2 goals in a game
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So that one's a great transfer for Charlotte. Evan Howard, so he led the team in goals this summer. He transferred from Coastal Carolina to SIUE. So that I think they made the tournament last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll be a big player coming in. Felix Ewald, West Virginia, key component all year long for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, stacked roster there, but
Yeah,
that's kind of the short list. Going back to the ACC guys that we covered, obviously all like the Duke, NC State, and Virginia guys. Well,
Yeah.
Guy, Brendan Lamb at NCFC. Like we saw Tolentino, Tyler Caton, Drew Kerr, Leonardo D'Ambrosio, Caleb Tommy. That
The whole
division
list.
itself is like crazy because, last year I believe Charlotte Independence had a kind of a down year, but
Yeah, they
the
were
type
they
of
were not
guys,
good.
yeah, the type of guys they brought in this time around, like Aiden Morrison,
Alonzo Clark,
Alonzo Clark,
Jefferson Mamaya,
yeah, he was there, Jake Roberts,
Isaac Shearer.
yeah, Isaac Shear for sure, because he was an interesting one as a freshman in a team that is known for being highly experienced, playing a lot of minutes for the Mountaineers, and I think
He's very Simon Carlson-esque. Like we wrote about him that we'll probably post soon. We do like an in-depth analysis on West Virginia, but I think West Virginia, they thrive when they have a creative 10 or a creative winger kind of floating, and Isaac Shear kind of sums up that role. I think Simon Carlson was the main man for them, but I think with now him graduating, Isaac's going to be more of a role, like more of a player. Like with that being said, he did play a good amount and made an impact, but it's getting on the ball, sliding the ball through, combination play. It's exactly what you want in a 10, and I think it showed how he had pro experience with Charlotte Independence because he came in, was professional, and he got rewarded. And I think that just shows how West Virginia doesn't really care how old you are; they just want to win. So he was obviously good enough, and now he's getting rewarded for that.
Yeah, definitely. And then 2 ACC guys, Carlos Zambrano and Ethan Subachan.
Yeah.
For Fort Lauderdale. Milton Lopez, McKinney, we talked about him. Danny Kruger, Westchester.
Yeah.
Chandler Young, Staten Island, I thought looked really good despite not really, like as a team, they didn't. That's a tough metropolitan division. So, but Noah Powder was there. Colin Frogson with Asheville. Bo Morrison out on the West Coast with San Juan, who had a really good season. We'll talk a little bit about Sarasota Paradise, but obviously ACC guy Enzo Pinozo was there.
Yeah.
Western Mass, I really like Aiden Kelly, the senior center back.
He's a mainstay for them. For the last 3 years, just consistent, good size, ball playing, center back, and I think he also has legs defending. I think a lot of defenders nowadays they're okay with defending, but they would rather get on the ball and play. He's like an old school English center back that is able to play as well, which is a good trait to have.
Northern Ireland.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. I don't know. It was kind of interesting. I was like 8th. UMass is listed for 8th in the preseason poll. That's just a quick note there. But also, I've always had an eye on Gustavo Barbosa, wing back. he was with Hudson Valley last summer, and then he was with Western Mass this year. I texted him earlier because I wanted to see. I knew he was in the transfer portal, but I was like, I can't remember if I saw that you announced that you're going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I was waiting on that. I think maybe we can try to do when we circle back around to some teams. But then one of my favorite programs over the summer ended up being Minneapolis City.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was like tuning in because I love Jake Swallen, and I'm a huge fan. But
Yeah.
like the team that they put together there in the midfield, or basically the core of that team, was so much fun to watch because Preston Kepnusu, who is a Missouri Valley Conference Freshman of the Year, Jackson Kirsch, also from Drake, which I misspoke earlier because I was dumb and I said Nebraska. It's actually Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah.
So my apologies. But yeah, and that's like the Vermont, the Norwegian nightmare.
Yeah, good.
So,
yeah, he's a good player though. Like they call him the nightmare, but he's like reminds me of like Rivette a little bit. Like he's a six that you pair him up with a technical, maybe more of a maestro deep lying playmaker, and I mean, it's all about the partnerships in the next level in the college game. So it should be like I said, Drake will have a sneaky team and a good partnership in that midfield.
Yeah, and I don't think like nationally people would really recognize that team, but I mean with the type of performances that some of these guys have had over the summers, yeah, I think they're kind of putting Drake on the map a little bit.
Yeah,
and then obviously Joe Highfield in that team with Portland, and I don't even know how to word it, but for all like the computer models out there that are trying to predict what teams are going to be successful and what not, but it was a crime for whatever model that was like Portland's coming in fifth because I don't know. I think they're going to be challenging for that conference.
You know, a Jabby too from Vermont. I mean,
yeah,
it's gonna be a solid team.
And bringing in one of my favorite D2 players, Anton Jarmelson from Fort Lewis. After a 2-year stint there, I thought that was a really interesting pickup by Carlin Voigt. So, yeah, I'm excited. And obviously you're bringing back Efatobo Aurora, and they brought in some kid, I think, from either Timbers Academy.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was Timbers Academy. But that's another team that could probably do a 4-2-2-2 with Diego Rosas. And, but obviously you're going to have options because the Jagby can play fantastically on the wing. You have Highfield as a center or Jarmelson and Rosas, and then a very strong core midfield with Garnett from FC Motown. So, and they brought in Michael Dunn from UNC. So
this will be a good team.
Yeah,
a good team for sure.
Very good team. Definitely tuning in. And obviously we mentioned Ian Shaw, Notre Dame. Tied with Minneapolis on points during the regular season was Swainio FC. They had a really good Indiana contingent. A name to look out for, Michael Neshy, sophomore forward. So his freshman year he had 4 goals. Over the summer, 9 goals. And with a lot of guys that have left that team for the pros, like Tommy Mahalik, Sam Sarver, Pat McDonald, like a bunch of them, Chanson Miller.
This will be time for some players to step up for them.
And we'll definitely cover them because, I mean, they brought in Colton Swan from Rapids 2, who is lighting it up for next pro. Palmer Alt, who was also drafted by the Rapids a couple years ago. They've reloaded. And would you ever expect anything less from from Todd Yeagley?
No, that's what they do. Like it's kind of like a clockwork for all those big teams like Maryland, Indiana, Pittsburgh, Georgetown. Like they're going to reload with its transfers and the young players stepping up.
Yeah, and then our boy Agunle is also on that team.
Which I think he'll have a good season for Louisville. I hope so. Like I said, a bunch of uncoachable characteristics he has, which is great, and just adding that consistency.
Yeah, I wonder if he even knows that he's got fans out there.
Maybe if someone can send that to him, then it will be perfect.
Yeah, and then I've mentioned them a little bit in the broadcast, but one of my favorite places in the summer, I'm so happy that they were a part of USL League Two this year, but Annapolis Blues,
Yep.
Colin Ariat as the coach. What a town in the United States. It's
Yeah.
so much fun. One of their main sponsors, Forward Brewing, is one of my favorite breweries in the country. It's such a cool spot. Good little harbor town. It's a beautiful place in the summer. They get a lot of fans, but so a few of the guys on that team, since we were talking about obviously Zach Zenge, but Matty Helfrich,
Yeah.
he led the team in minutes. I think this year at Georgetown could be a solid year, especially with Blaine maybe finally signing pro.
Yeah.
Well deserved. I was like banging that war drum for a long time. He's such a solid player. Joe Buck is with New England Revolution again. But yeah, they've had Brady Gaho for a couple of years, but he ended the season with 7 goals to lead the team. No longer with St. John's though. He's going to UMBC.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting one. He's a big, like kind of, yeah, he's just a big body 9 and a lot of weight to throw around, but he can finish as well. So
I mean that's all that you need low key too sometimes in the college game. Like a 9 who's technically solid but can move his body and knows his body well, that can back some goals.
yeah, I definitely like his style. And then Matt Leonard, Charleston. So he had 8 goals and 2 assists as a sophomore at Charleston, and I thought he had a few good showings. I think he came off with a minor knock toward the end of the season. So, hoping he's back and healthy and
Nothing
ready to
major.
go. Yeah, he's a player worth watching, especially as a U.S. domestic player. I don't think anyone really knew what to expect from Dothan, but they made it to the national semifinals against the Vermont Green. So, but Laurie Goddard, he's kind of known around NCAA for what he's done at Hofstra. But I think in his senior year he'll want to have a really big year. I know he's an ambitious player.
Solid player too. Played a lot for Western Mass too before going to Dothan, but
that's true.
Yeah, good size for him as kind of that winger attacking player. But one thing that I like is a big winger that can use his body well. I know we talk about it with the small wingers, but it's difficult to defend a big player who's smooth, who can, if you go right, he goes left. And I think there's a couple times during the Vermont game and just watching him throughout last season with Hofstra and this summer, just his ability to use that body and go at speed and drop the shoulder as impressive. And 8 goals his last season. I think his goal, like you said, he's ambitious, is to probably get to that 12 mark or even more.
Yeah.
Like I said, Hofstra is an attacking team that serves balling, gets second balls, and even though he is silky and smooth on the ball, he can also get second balls and just snapshot, shot, cross. So it's a good diverse way that he can play.
Yeah, and they're gonna have him with Daniel Burko, transferred from a year at Syracuse, so that'll be another attacking team up in the New York area. And then I mentioned Mohamed Sumaila for Greensboro, but he was also with Dothan.
Yeah. As
a freshman with Greensboro last year, I thought he was a pretty solid player. But yeah, that's a team in the North Carolina area that we're going to be keeping tabs on.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of North Carolina, we kind of talked about the stacked South Atlantic Division, but there's a couple other players that I wanted to bring up, mainly Jonathan Monteneau, the goalkeeper for South Carolina United Bantams. Every time I watched Bantams, kind of their style, like 5-3-2, sometimes that allows other teams to kind of possess on you. And they were fine with it. They were strong defensively, but like a couple of those games, Monteneau was like bailing them out. Some of the saves he was making were absolutely incredible. Yeah. He's a Houston Dynamo academy guy, but he's moving up to Dayton from UAB. And I think that's, if you like goalkeepers, I've liked his style. I think probably the last program we'll talk about is Sarasota Paradise because they're moving up to USL League One next year. The biggest one is Lucas Komroth.
Yeah.
The prototype center back, 6'4", minutes leader for Paradise this summer. I mean, talk about one of the best defending units on paper. They already showed it last year. I don't think they're going to be pulling the ball out of their net very often. And if they do, I'll be kind of surprised, and we'll have to look at the tactics of it. But, I mean, with Roman Holt healthy again, and they brought in a few more center backs, so they definitely don't want to be giving up any goals. And I don't think we talked about Daniel Lugo transferring up there or over there from UNC.
No, they have a good team that they're forming, especially with like Brendan Kruger returning. Like you said, Holt getting healthy, Luca already back there as the mainstay. I mean, every year they're solid, but this is like a year that they have a good core returning. Plus, then you have Gardner Webb with what Scott Willis has done. Not to talk about them because I know we're talking about High Point, but like, though it's going to be a battle with those two.
Yeah, and some of the best teams around Europe are used to the duopolies, like the Glasgow Rangers and Celtic.
Yeah,
and, I think that's what you get kind of in that conference. But yeah, I mean, both teams are reloading because Scott's brought in like Will Kane from Clemson and a bunch of guys that might not be household names right now, but I mean,
it's only a matter of time until we hear about them. Like that's how it goes with a lot of these, like Marshall too. Like coaches that can recruit international, you might know the academy that they're from, but you might not know the player. But then after like the third week, you're like, oh, this guy has 3 goals and has played this many minutes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and then another transfer out of North Carolina that we just hadn't seen much of him. It was mainly one of those guys, kind of like Tate Lorenz, that it's like the most we've seen of them are in the summer leagues, but like IMG Academy graduate Kai Tamashiro going to Liberty. And then last summer I really liked Casey McCarthy at Charlotte Eagles. So he's also going to Liberty. I think he was with Detroit Mercy the year before. And then Cade Bender. Not sure if that name rings any bells for you. He's a Charlotte guy, but he was with Queens. And I thought during the preseason versus ETSU when I was there, I thought he looked pretty good. So, yeah, it's interesting. Like, I actually really enjoy the modern NCAA way. I think I've made this argument a long time ago, maybe when I was talking about the draft, but some people will always hate how free people are to transfer now. But, you know, if you only get a small window to play college soccer, you should probably go to an environment that you believe in, especially because any others can transfer whenever they want. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, like,
if
at the end of the day,
transfer,
like,
go for it.
It's how it is. So it's like whether you like it or not, you either move with it or just you get stuck in the past. And I feel like the teams that have used the transfer portal to the benefit are the teams that have been most successful. And if you're a player and you want to transfer for whatever reason and you're able to, you don't want to have regret, right? And the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And I think that's what players have to realize. But then again, if you want to play at the next level and you're not going to get there at where you are now, that doesn't mean say you don't be a dickhead, right? And think you're better than the team that you're at. Yeah. But just, you want to be in an environment that you like the coach, you like the school, you like the environment, you like the culture. And if you're at a place where all those boxes aren't ticked and a lot of them are actually X's and you're not happy, and what makes you happy is playing soccer and being in a good environment and going to a good school, then you should transfer, right? Yeah. But you shouldn't transfer if you get benched for 2 games, but everything else is great. Like that's called adversity and you have to deal with it. So I feel like I like the new system too, because I feel like it benefits the players and the coaches Because at the end of the day, every kid is going to find a school and every school is going to find a kid. If you look hard enough and you do your research and do your due diligence, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's like definitely the part of it is like you can't just give up on a program just because you're not playing right now. Like
Yeah.
playing as a freshman, for example, isn't super common. So you can't be like wildly disgruntled as a freshman just because you're not playing. But if you're not satisfied with a lot of the other things that you said, then maybe it is time. But because you just don't want to run out of it.
Of course,
End up
yeah. And
being
like,
a
you know,
25-year-old still trying to be a journeyman in NCAA if you know you have the ability and you have another coach that really believes in you and wants to use you in their program. Like, yeah. But anyway,
that could be a whole other episode that we can talk about.
Yeah,
So that's
we'll definitely have to do a transfer episode. But anything else for our closing statement?
No, I think it was a great interview with Owen, just kind of talking about the journey and the culture of Vermont. And I think it was good to get his perspective on a teammate side of the players that we talked about. Like I said, like the last 20 minutes, all these names, the players to be on the lookout for and the teams to be on the lookout for. And like, you know, with the preseason, it's tough because we're assuming all of this. Then once we really get into the season and dissect games and analysis of players and teams, it'll be more clear who we're talking about because those are the players we're watching week in and week out.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it was great, and I'm looking forward to like the next couple episodes, and we kind of give love to some other conferences and teams. But I mean, in 2 weeks, we're going to be having podcasts about games that we're watching and games that we're going to. So it's going to be exciting times.
Yeah, and I mean, God, there were 144 teams, and yeah, there's so many good players out there that we didn't even mention. So, yeah, you're just going to have to stay tuned out there because our intent is to make sure that we make our way around to a lot of programs to see, you know, who they have and what type of players are very intriguing, and that's kind of the mission that we're going for. So I will say, for all the fans out there who are sad that USL League Two has come to a close, the good news is go out and support your local schools in your area because it's going to be a lot of the same talent pool, great environments, and Dylan and I are going to be there the whole way to make sure everyone's in the loop with video spotlights, player write-ups, team write-ups, tactics, trying to get a little bit deeper into what are making these programs tick. And, just supporting the guys out there.
Nice. Yeah. And again, thank you for everyone listening and supporting. And be on the lookout. We're going to be posting some more stuff with some spotlights of players in different conferences. And till next episode.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks again, everybody.
Thanks, guys.